Ooh, let's go. I feel like it's a fluke at this point, or maybe the fact that it's at this point it's not a fluke, but somehow I have managed to get myself in a position where I have not lost yet. My record on paper surprised me when I realized it was 18 wins and 6 losses, and I'm ready to go 0-3 after saying this week. I gotta play it out.
I've done the normal and muted myself again, so rookie error. We'll completely ignore everything that's just happened and we can welcome Oddlaw to the show. Not disgraced at 4 and 2, Oddlaw. Just doing well yourself.
True. I'm trying my best. 4 and 2 is not bad when you're learning the format each week and not playing the ladder. So, pretty happy. And let's be honest, Ryob's undefeated only because the people that would defeat him are on his team. So, uh, not too shabby, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the expectations were before the season, but I think we've exceeded them. So we'll have to see where it goes from here. But the expectations for tonight's show are going to be talking about trios, which has just come to the end of the regular season. We have got a couple of matches to look at, and then we're going to take a look at the table and see what's going to be happening in playoff series. So we're going to jump into the first trios match. All right, so for the first trios match, we have got Swagoi versus The Game Gets Top Decked. We'll do our normal. Reverb, you can be on the left. You can be Swagoi. And Oddle, you can be The Game Gets Top Decked here. So, Reverb, how are the matchups looking here? What do you think is going to be the ban, and what do you think gets banned from your decks here?
Okay. Interestingly enough, this is pretty much a mirror. All of these decks are really good. The only difference is Enrage for control. Now, difference between Enrage and control, I don't know how much that is going to matter. I think Enrage is actually really good. It is quite difficult to play, but you'd like to think 3 brains combined, you can get it done. My only thing is, I think these Tony Druid stats are all a lie. I do not think any of those decks beat Tony Druid, especially if they are on the good build. So it's always a Tony ban. If my opponent's lineup has Tony Druid, I'm banning it. I don't care what I'd brought, unless I for some reason am playing the most insane dirty rat lineup of my life, but I'm banning Tony Druid.
Fair, fair. And Oddlaw, we thinking the same thing here, or
Well, I know we are talking about how good Tony Druid is before the show. However, yeah, no, I'm not even going to try and think of another thing. I think it's just Tony Druid bans across the board. Let's play some real Hearthstone. Um, Especially with the Control Warrior instead of the Enrage Warrior, there's not even a chance to scam the Tony Druid with Control Warrior, I don't think. So
all right?
It would
probably
have to
just
be
find
on a
different
very specific build.
like
Let's.
some insane Dirty Rat, Theatar shenanigans, and
They'd have
even.
the is it a 1 mana spell that summons a
Oh,
minion from your
yes.
opponent's hand?
Summons the minion from your
Yeah.
opponent's hand. That's
People have
true.
been running that and like stashing things in an ETC and Control Warrior for a chance to scam Tony Druid.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. I think we just get rid of it and we play the 3 other decks against each other and try and see what happens.
All right, and that's what happened. Tony Druid is out of here. No Tony, sorry Tony, not today. Um, Now that we've got Druid out of the way, Reverb, how are you leading off here? What do you think your best way forward to get the chocolates here is?
Um, that is a good question. I the It's kind of wacky because there is the option for 2 mirror matches. I think because it's Control Warrior, if the Secret Hunter that I have, I'm assuming is like one of the good arcane builds. I've actually played that quite a lot when the patch dropped. I don't mind it into, like, I guess the mirror you kind of just have to play, and the other 2 decks. So I think Secret Hunter isn't the worst lead because it just kind of has game into all 3. It's not going to get stumped by any. But if you're confident, you could go Enraged Warrior out of the block and just guarantee that win for you if you can pilot it well enough. Mildly concerned about getting my Mech Rogue through. And the best way to do that is probably high roll the mirror. But yeah, I think it's either Secret Hunter or Enraged to start with.
All right, Oddlaw, how are you approaching it from the Genget's top deck side?
Well, I think that it's kind of a similar situation, obviously, with the mirrors and such. The Control Warrior seems like a rough lead just because you kind of want to save that in the back, I think. And if you end up in an endgame scenario where it's like Mech Rogue versus Control Warrior or something like that, you might be a slightly more favored, and this matchup is all in like small percentage favorites. I think the lead is Mech Rogue because it's super scammy, can beat anything left in the lineup, and yeah, like, you know, no matter what the deck is, if you have a massive stealth mech on turn 3 and then you give it Wind Fury, you're going to win the game. So I really like leading Mech Rogue here with the plan of Control Warrior into an expected aggro whenever it's going to come. Hopefully on the Mech Rogue, and then if you get Control Warrior through, you're pretty clear. Secret Hunter is pretty consistent, so I think that's a good approach, like Mech Rogue lead and then see what happens after that.
Yeah, I think with the lineups being so similar, would expect a close one here. Just noting as well, it is the Secret Hunter build, not the Arcane Hunter build. So it's not you don't have the 1-drops, the 1-cost spells, and the arcane buffs from the 2-drop minion. You're running your taunts, so your 2-mana spell taunts, monkeys and things like that. Yeah, so.
Who's Secret Hunter is that?
Whose one is that? Both of them.
Yeah.
So they're both running both running the same build. So they're running the Secret Hunter, not the Arcane Hunter build, in this particular lineup. We'll have a look at how it went. Let's have a look. So Secret Hunter was led first into the Control Warrior and got a win over the Control Warrior. Enraged Warrior was the next one up, which is pretty much how we said it was going to be either Secret Hunter or Enraged Warrior. Leave the Mech Rogue to last. So Enraged Warrior followed it up. Control Warrior got the win. I suppose with Secret Hunter out of the way, you then probably Control Warrior looks pretty good. So got the win then, and then the Mech Rogue Mirror was won by Sogoi. Stayed on Mech Rogue. Got the win over the Enrage, but then the Enrage got the Secret Hunter at the end in game 5. So looks like a pretty tight match. Not sure about the first lead. Yeah, but ended up being really close. I think those Mech Rogue Mirror, or maybe even the game 5, probably could have gone either way. But without seeing the replays or anything, it's just hard to tell, but looks like a pretty close game in the end.
I'm really thinking the entire match was kind of decided on that Mech Rogue Mirror. Seems really key, because if the Mech Rogue gets through, then the Secret Hunter gets 2 shots at winning and is like a way higher chance of getting the win in such a close match. So it's really that definitive, that like middle matchup that decided it, I think.
Yeah, they were always went down 1, had got the win to get it back to even, went down 2-1, got the win to get back to even. So yeah, always having to sort of chase the game a little bit there. All right, we'll move along to our second match. Oh, which it was the last redacted thing there. So yeah, 3-2 win to Sugoi, which took Sugoi to a 5-1 record and left the Gang Gets Top Deck on a 3-3 record. Which will, when we get to the standings later, we can have a look at that. Second match, we've got the W Gang versus the Big Three. We'll keep people where we are. So Reverb, you can have the W Gang here.
That's so much red.
I'll give you the red matchup, and Oddlaw, you can have the Big Three here. Reverb, what's your favorite color?
Normally it's green. Today it's red. Do I have the knowledge? Is my like Control Priest and Control Warrior, are they like Giga Teched to the sun to get cards out of my opponent's hand, or are they just standard builds?
I'll have a look while you're evaluating the rest of your lineup.
Because that needs to be the case. Otherwise, we lose. We lose 7 ways to Sunday.
47's,
Yeah.
47's a number. That's not 42.
I guess. Yeah. So.
Which decks
without
did you want to know
looking
about?
at
Control Priest.
Control Priest. I'm assuming it has a rats.
It's got 2 dirty rats in there. It's got
Does any Control Priest not have rats?
Creation Protocols.
Like, that's the entire deck.
Does the Control Warrior have like rats or that spell that takes a card out of my opponent's hand? I think it's stand to front. No, that sounds wrong.
I don't think so. No, it's just like an Odin 30 card. It's got Finley and From the Depths in there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just, yeah, Ignis sort of. It's got a Yogg at the top end.
Of course.
Yeah, so unfortunate, because if the warrior had like Call to Stand in it, the angle is out of somehow playing every single game as if it is RNG. The only way we can get through is if we like scam the druid. Unfortunately, that is probably still the case because Control Priest can scam it, Mech Rogue can scam it, and Nature Shaman, depending on the build, can scam it. There are some people that have been playing like insane armor builds with Mood, Chitness Plate, like all of the armor cards, and you just can't kill them as Shaman with that. But if they whiff on into something, so weirdly enough, you have to leave Tony up for a chance to scam it. And you're banning either Arcane Hunter or Control Warlock. I'd probably ban Arcane Hunter just because it's a bit more consistent. Control Warrior has a chance to whiff on the Symphony, even drawing it or like anything, and not being able to start their game plan because they don't get the right stuff. Whereas Arcane Hunter always has something to put on the board, so it looks grim, but that's what it is. I'm thinking it's ban Arcane Hunter and hope.
Oddlaw, what do you think is going to give you the most trouble here? Which one don't you want to see?
Is this pre or post patch? Is this when Symphony's
I
nerfed?
grabbed the stats today, but it's legend stats. It's not top 1k because Nature Shaman doesn't have enough games in top 1k.
Because if the Control Warlock doesn't have the Symphony being able to draw Sargeras for 3, it's slightly important.
Yep.
Not that important, but like sort of.
Lamp in chat said they played their match post-patch.
Yeah.
Post patch. Okay, so you don't have the Sargeras play.
No, I don't have the Sargeras play. They've got an ETC with Rustrot, Viper, Smothering Starfish, and Yogg Sauron Unleashed in it.
Interesting. Right. It's just so many good options, you know. I don't think you want to see Control Priest. That's my gut feeling. I know Mech Rogue can be scary, but in the long run, like, these decks can sometimes handle Mech Rogue. These decks can also get really tilting losses to Control Priest, and in this situation, I think you just don't want to get tilted because you're so favored that you want to, you know, keep on course. And if you have a really rough game against Control Priest, and then the next game, you have to face, say, Mech Rogue or something, and Mech Rogue kills you on turn 2, turn 3, or whatever, and then you're just 2-0 down in a really favored situation. So to avoid that, I would probably ban Control Priest, because there's very few people that can play Nature Shaman at a level where it's terrifying, and the people that can make it look like it's broken, but I'm not as scared of that as I am of getting dirty ratted and stuff.
All right, let's take
Yeah,
a
I don't know.
look.
There's so many good options.
So, Tony Druid was banned. Didn't leave it up, Reverb. You banned it. And Mech Rogue was the ban, coming back the other way. You've pretty much gone through how you think the game will sort of go with what the pros and cons are here.
If you reveal that Lamp won this, I'm going to be bewildered.
I have a gut feeling that that's why this matchup was picked. I just have, one of those, like...
No.
Yeah. I just have a feeling.
It better not be anything more than a 3-2.
3-0. I'm ready for it. I mean, Hearthstone is RNG. Every game can be won.
How about we just...
That is how statistics work.
How about we just split it? We'll go for 3-1.
A 3-1.
So Control Warrior got the first win for the W gang here. Got the win against the Control Warlock.
I can see that happening.
Then they switched onto the Hunter after that because that was the worst matchup for Hunter. This is the Arcane Hunter build, this one. Arcane Hunter got the win over the Control Priest, which was a good matchup for them. Then the W gang switched on a Nature Shaman and copped an L against Enrage Warrior and also Control Warlock. I might have stayed on Control Priest.
Yeah, I would have done the same. I would have stayed on Priest. It's a way better option.
Yeah, I probably would have stayed on Control Priest before switching to Nature Shaman. But I mean, if they're gonna win the week, it's trios, so you have to win. It doesn't matter what the score is. So you still have to win with the deck, but. Maybe they thought like if they go Nature Shaman, they might be able to get the Warlock matchup, and then Priest is gonna, they don't want to go Priest into, into Warlock, and Warlock gets through over Priest, and then they're not going to get Shaman over Warrior. But could have been something like that. But yeah, got the 3-1 win for the big three. So the 3-1 win for them. Puts them through onto a 4-2 record and leaves the W gang also at a 4-2 record, which will now jump over to the trio standings, and we'll see how important those 4-2 records are when we look at the table. So top 6 making the playoffs for trios this season. I had thought it was 8 because where the black line had been sitting below 8 all season on the standings, but no, it is top 6. Top 2 teams get a bye. And then, the top 6. So the matches we covered, Sorgoi were playing the Gang Gets Top Decked. So that match, which was pretty close, knocked the Gang Gets Top Decked out. You needed 4 wins to make playoffs this season.
That's right.
And then Brown snuck in ahead of them. They were playing one of the teams further down. I think they might have been playing against Easy, but yeah, so they had been sitting a bit slightly lower and got the move up. So yeah, if the Gang Gets Top Decked had have beaten Sorgoi, Brown would have missed on tiebreakers, and we would have had a lot of 4-2 teams. But yeah, so just missed playoffs. Sorgoi get the bye as a result. And the 1 Amalgam Band were the other team that was sitting up the top of the table most of the season. They lost in the last week, I think, as well, to another Sussy Union, I believe. So wins to another Sussy Union, the W gang and the big no, not the big the big three, another Sussy Union and Brown all got them into the playoffs. And yeah, it looks interesting from there. So we're gonna go from here. We're gonna have a look at the playoff picture. And who am I going to get? I'm going to get Reverb. I'm going to get you to tell me what's happening with the playoff picture in trios. Do you want to run through how playoffs are going to work?
Yes. By that, do you mean like how the matches?
Yeah. So we've
Like
got
the bracket?
we've got the bracket.
Okay.
This is the bracket here. So we've got the couple
So-
of matches there at the bottom.
The top two teams that we saw before, Sugoi and One Al Malcolm Band, have the bye. Then the next four, which forms our top six, they get the playoff. So as you see, the big three is playing against
Brown.
Best. I don't know what the logo is.
It's Brown.
I'm bad.
Brown Alumni Esports. The Brown.
That is Best. And
Yep.
then we have the W Gang, who we just featured, against
Another
Sparky,
Sussy.
the Fire Lord.
Another Sussy Union.
Another Sussy Union. So those two are going to play. The loser is out. Dunzo. No more. The winner goes up to face one of the teams that has the bye. And then the winner of those two will then play in the ultimate super giga amazing Trio Season 2 final.
Yes, and which team the winners face, we don't know. There's some anomalies in play. Could be either of those teams. Hence the cloud of doubt there in the middle. Due to
Well,
the
it'll be a 25%
due to the
chance.
anomalies.
25% chance to appear in playoffs.
Hey, I had 25% chance of rain today, and I got wet. I can tell you, it rained very heavily at my home
Yeah,
today.
it did too. Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I looked outside and I was like, wow, okay, that's what we're doing today.
Yeah, pretty much. After yesterday was so nice. It was like 26
Yeah.
yesterday, and then
Yeah, yesterday was quite warm, like clear sky, and today was just miserable whole day.
Just being Melburnians, I guess.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
All right, so yeah, best of luck to the 6 teams that are still in trios for this season. Remembering this is a cash league, that's cash money in the pocket. Go out, get some pizza and a beer afterwards for the winners. So yeah, still 6 teams in for the chance of the money, including last year's champions, the W Gang, who won the first season as the L Gang. So they're still holding on for a repeat after the first season. Okay, from here we are going to jump across into Wild Series. I don't have a surprise segment in the middle today. We're just going to cover off on our series. So that is the surprise. There is no surprise segment. So yeah, jumping into Wild Series. Okay, we're going to kick it off with Player of the Week. So, Oddlaw, do you want to run us through Player of the Week for round 5? Can you tell us who that
absolutely.
was?
Well, in a very close race to playoffs, 5 teams are fighting for the 4 available playoff slots. And thanks to MTG Squirrel's 3-0 win, Avoid Punitive Measures got the best of the other APM squad in the much-needed 18-0 victory. MTG Squirrel's performance with a very unique face hunter build gave enough breathing room to their teammates so they can approach the rest of the week with less pressure. Congrats on getting the Player of the Week award, and see you all next week. That hit home for me, as the other APM squad felt that. But yeah, congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice little win from Squirrel, and I don't know why I asked you to read it out there, Oddlaw, seeing
Yeah, I
that
don't know.
it was your team that we were facing, but yeah, we got the APM honors there, so bragging rights in the Discord.
True.
Okay, feature lineup. Reverb, I'm going to jump into feature lineup, and you tell me what happened in this Tell me a little bit about Lothos's lineup for Wild Week 5.
As everyone should know if they read the Hearthstone patch notes famously published on Hearthstone.com, you can see that there were a lot of changes to Wild in those patch notes. There was a lot of stuff taken away from a lot of good decks, and I have it on good faith that apparently the format is better now. And Lothos has made of this by playing what I can see only as similar looking things. It's another Druid combo deck, it's another Mage combo deck, a Rogue combo deck, and good old Shudderwock Shaman. Though, I thought you wouldn't play Shudderwock Shaman with a 4-mana Flurgle, but here we are, we're playing it anyway. There were a surprising amount of Murloc nerfs for Wild. I didn't expect that. I expected Flurgle, but then not the other ones. So, Quest Druid, I guess it's back. I don't know if it actually ever left, but I can only assume with the tools that we have for Druid and comboing and such, we have been using it in Standard for Tony. I'm sure they can abuse them in Wild in the form of summoning more things on turn 3 than you probably should. Quest Mage. Oh, this hurts me. I don't want to be that guy. The only cool mage combo deck ever was the one with Turtle, okay? That is the only one you're allowed to like. The fact that they took Turtle away from us is still a crime to this day. There is so much more annoying stuff to play against or to play yourself. Give us back the Turtle. The Turtle mage deck, cool. Every other mage deck, bad. And if you think otherwise, you're wrong. Rogue. I've seen many images on my Twitter post-patch of 10-10 or above Edwins being played on turn 1 or turn 2. It's gross. I believe it is the best thing you can be doing in Wild. Don't quote me on that. I don't play the format too much. And then there's Shudder Shaman.
I think you'll be taking making a comeback next season. I think you'll be playing with Concerned Mum on Hair Club with the Turtle Mage, the Turtle Mage take there. Definitely a Hair Club member.
Out.
Definitely a Hair Club
Big
member.
shout out to Mum. Does Mum still play Hearthstone?
I haven't seen him playing Hearthstone.
I think
he's been streaming
in
some
the
other things.
scene. Yeah, he's got his finger on the pulse, waiting for that stupid deck that replays Cloak of Shadows over and over again.
I've seen the occasional Hearthstone post. This is why I'm not playing.
Yeah, that's all I've seen too.
Mum was my greatest ally in the attempt to defend Turtle Mage.
It was a deck. It was definitely a deck.
It should have stayed.
It was one of the many Wild Hearthstone decks that existed.
Yeah, it was one. It was one of the wild decks of all time. Yeah, but now you've got Grand Magister Romonth, and you can just have endless turns with the quest. So
yeah,
you know.
people, this deck is like the oldest deck in the format. Like, when was Microsoft Windows Solitaire invented? Like 95 or something. Deck's been around for like 30 years, man, almost.
30 years. Right, yeah, so...
It's so old, you can play it in paper.
Yeah, so it's good to have Lothos back. He missed the first few weeks of the season, but I can see that he's in the Sleepyhead Shakers team again for this week. Probably perma replacement, I think. So yeah, still undefeated in the regular season. We'll see how he goes for the rest of the season, and hopefully we can see some more interesting builds. And just to note here, Shaman was banned. It didn't get played. It didn't get the win. It was banned in this matchup. So he did get a 3-1 win with the other decks.
People just don't like Shadow Shaman, I guess.
Yeah, it's just
Definitely the worst deck in this lineup.
It's just instinct. What am I banning? I don't want to play Shadow Ball. So where's Waldo? I don't have a Waldo on this page. All right, moving along. Wild standings page. So we've got a match to look at, and I'm gonna get. I think is it Oddlaw to read me through this match. Is that right? I think it is. So we've got Wild THL Fanatics versus the World Shakers. Oddlaw, can you take us through this match and tell us what happened here?
Absolutely. Got a soft spot for both these teams. Let's have a... Oh my goodness, there's a lot of interesting decks on here. So, pretty close match. Despite the scoreline saying it's 5 points in it, it's actually more like it came down to the last match of the series. Could have been tied up, could have been taken, depends on the records, I guess, but it's pretty interesting. A lot of Druid. I'm assuming this is a mix of post-patch and pre-patch, looking at the decks. Because there's some disco. There's also not some disco.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And good to see Labore bringing pretty interesting lineup and taking it. I'm assuming Giant's Rogue is just the Miracle Rogue.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing that Lothos had in his lineup.
Yeah, very popular deck at the moment, very good deck. Some interesting brings all round. A lot of Mind Rogue. My god. Yeah, looks like overall was a back and forth week. I'm assuming the matches were kind of close, and it came down to a last one. And I mean, WAD THL Fanatics notorious for bringing all kinds of interesting lists, so can really take opponents off guard, and it seems that's what happened here to take the week, because World Shakers did bring kind of more standard decks, I would say, kind of the expected meta, and then Wild THL Fanatics, beat of their own drum, brought some kind of surprise decks to clutch it. Pretty sick.
Yeah, Reverb, did you have anything you wanted to add to the
What is
to the match
XL Paladin?
I think that's a control.
That's a 40
thing.
card. It's a 40 card list.
The one that
That'd be
runs like
good.
Carriol and the Dragon, and then you just play like some of them have both Jailer in them, and you
Is
just
that
kind
good?
of it's actually good now. If this was played post patch, it's actually pretty good in the current meta.
Ooh,
It's got a lot of little
does-
stuff, and then
I might have
well,
to try that out.
Because it's got like some really
Kazakhstan
good
and the ETC.
2-3 card combos that are really strong. Like you got the Quality City tax, you've got Barrow City tax, you've got the Dragon into the card that order in the court, and then you play like Ariel into all kinds of combo. Like it's pretty brutal actually as a deck.
And then you've also got like you got Holy Mackie Roll there. If I think they're running it in their list, so you can play like a heap of spells on one turn to discount your Yogg
Yeah.
as well. If you want to try and get Yogg online a little bit earlier, you can sort of play a few of those Holy Mackie Rolls and discount it. And a lot of the early game cards are all spells as well. So like your Christologies and your like your combo cards that like we've already mentioned, Flash of Light, Order in the Court. Like there's a lot of early game there, and they're running timeouts as well. So there's a couple of
Pretty cool
delay
tech, yeah.
cards.
Really underrated card timeout. It's literally the same as Iceblock or the other mage skip a turn one, whatever it's called, take 1 damage at a time. It's basically the same
Solid
thing, but it's in
Alibi.
Paladin. Yeah, Solid Alibi. It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty sick card. I'm surprised we don't see it more.
Against something like a Quest Mage, your hero's immune until your next turn. Well, your next turn
Yeah.
could be a long way away, but you're immune for that whole period. So
That's hilarious. I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that.
yeah,
It's the same as the Cloak of Shadows in Rogue. It does the same thing.
The quest just can't to kill you. That's so funny.
Yeah.
but yeah, interesting list. I don't think any other teams really playing it, so probably a brood list in there. This team loves to cook, so let them cook.
Yeah.
See
let
what
them
you
Please
cook.
let them cook.
Yeah. All right. We will have a look at the table now. I'll get Reverb. I'll get Reverb to take us through the table and let us know. Well, we've got 2 rounds left. There's a couple of teams that have got buys. As you can see, a Plastered Monkey there have got the buy this week, and WTF have got the buy in the final week. So we'll take us through the table, Reverb, and then I'll get both of you to give me some predictions about which teams you expect to make the final 4 with 2 rounds to play.
Okay, so we have Plastered Monkeys at the top, though they have the bye, on 73 points. Avoid Punitive Message at 72 in second place, with the highest points per week. So they are like the true first, if you want to see it that way. F12 Viridian, 69 points, nice. 17, 25 points per week. They are pretty high. They're just behind in second, kind of really. They're right up there. WTF or Wild THL Fanatics on 67, and then Sleepyhead Shakers on 61 points, Walking Greases on 45, and World Shakers on 42.
All right. Did you want to give us some predictions for top 4? And I can give you some matchup information if you want to know who's playing who.
I think, unfortunately, it's going to be not Wild THL Fanatics because they have the bye in the last round. That top 5 all look really close, but it is going to take Wild THL having a really good week this week. I don't know who they play against, but they want a really good week this week, and they want a team like Sleepyhead Shakers to have a poor 2 weeks. Depending on who they're playing against, that could quite possibly be the case, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be the 2 APM teams, F2L and Sleepyhead Shakers, but Wild THL do have a real chance depending on who Sleepyhead are playing against.
So WTF are facing my APM team this week, and a Plastered Monkey in the final round are playing Worgen Greases.
Okay,
as the one-off matches.
Wild THL, you have a good week this week. Go and DM those Worgen Greaser guys some really good lists. It's my advice to you if you want to make playoffs.
So Stazari is coming out with the spicy take in the chat here. So Worgen Greasers are going to upset F12 Viridian this week. They're going to catch up a heap of points, get within range of a Plastered Monkey, and then take them down 5-0 in the final round. And they're going to sneak into the top 4. Worgen Greasers. You heard it first in chat. I just expanded on what Stazari said there, just made it plausible.
That would be amazing and awesome to see, and please do so now that Stazari has helped you out.
No pressure now. You called it out, you got to back it up. But yeah, likely that's what it's going to look like. We'll have a better idea next week once we've seen the results and sort of one match left to play. We'll see what's mathematical and what's likely. So anything can happen though. It's new meta, and you only need to win more games than your opposition, and you can get the points. There's definitely been some matches this season that people haven't expected the results of. So yeah, anything's still possible. If you're mathematically a chance, just go out and get the wins. All right, we'll go.
I think.
Yep. Model. Yep.
That it's going to be a really insane final week. That's my only prediction I have. The final week is going to be like coming down to the last match of some player like within points, and if this person 3-0s and this person doesn't, and blah blah blah, stuff like that. I think it's going to be one of those for rushes to the end. Pretty exciting.
All right, we're going to go back to the main screen. All right. I hadn't had a final question prepared, but I'm just going to come up with one off the cuff. We recently had a big patch where we've had quite a number of cards changed, mostly nerfs. There have been some bans as well for Wild. What other cards do you think could be banned in Wild? What other cards do you think they just need to go? We don't need it anymore. Let's open things up. Let's change things up. What's been around too long? What don't you want to see? Reverb.
This is weird because I believe there is a precedent they don't ban cards that are wild only. I think what they banned Mech Warper and Warrior. Not Warrior. Did they ban the Disco Lock location?
No, they nerfed it.
They nerfed it. What was the other ban then? Oh, did they ban Tony?
Tony was banned, and Mech Warper. So Mech Warper's in.
Yeah. But Mech Warper is
Twist?
technically in Twist,
Yep.
so it is still something you can play in one of the formats of Hearthstone. Because if that precedent wasn't the case, spoiler, Quest Mage, that should die. Ban the Quest. I liked Quest Mage when it was the cool Cyclone, cool haha tempo deck thing. That was fun. The infinite turns suck. It feels awful to play against. Get rid of it. I hate it. I might play Wild if I don't have to be locked in a game for 30 minutes.
So would you accept a Romanth ban? It's in standard. Would you accept that?
Yes, if
Ban that in Wild so you don't have the infinites? Or you just want the quest gone? Kill
I'm
it.
scared that there's some other way they're gonna figure out how to do it.
There always is. It's Wild. All right, Oddlaw, what's your ban? You got the ban stick in your hand. What are you getting rid of? What do you not want to see anymore?
Well, I am an aggro player at heart, so I really hate control decks, and I really hate the things control decks do. I'm on the ban Quest Mage team as well. I think banning Romath, banning the Quest, I don't care. I hate playing against it. It sucks. It's been around forever. It always lures its ugly head, and yeah, no one likes it. So obviously that. But other than that, maybe like Lotheb. Maybe that's a hot take, but Lotheb's really disgusting sometimes, and really shuts out a lot of things in Wild. Because if there's ever a combo deck that can cheat out a ton of mana and cheat out a ton of giants and then Lotheb, it really leaves a lot of decks basically with no answer. And while it doesn't look like a problematic card in a lot of decks, in stuff like Miracle Rogue, and you could even run it in like the Druid that's going around at the moment, the Questline Druid, stuff like that, it's really unfun to be against 3/8/8s in the Lotheb on turn 5. You know, it really has a terrible play pattern. So
We've been doing that for a while.
it's been around forever, and it's really frustrating. And like, I really like Lotheb. I really like playing it in Odd Rogue. I really like playing it in all kinds of stuff. But honestly, it's a really obnoxious card, and I think that type of stuff is what makes people dislike Wild. The mana cheat stuff, there's just such an insane amount that it's really hard to ban all of it, because like Druids will find a way, Rogues will find a way. Stuff like Passage could be you could take a look at Passage, because it defines Rogue as a class at the moment, and it probably will until the end of time. Just because no matter what Rogue deck exists, you know it's going to have 2 passages. At this point, you might know now that it's going to have 2 gear shifts, but with gear shift existing, maybe you can be like, well, Rogue has card draw now. We don't need to have Passage making Rogue a strong class no matter what the situation is. And then, other than that, like, I don't like Anduin. I don't like Reno Priest. I don't like the fact that there's always going to be Reno Priest because of Anduin. So I wouldn't mind it banned, but I know that's a really unpopular take because a lot of people really love that deck and would probably rage quit Wild if that got banned.
And Nubs' sad face in chat. I don't know if that's because of Anduin, but
that's because of
It's 'cause
the
of
Paladin. Surely
Nah,
not.
I think it's because Nubs is priest
Oh,
on 20 number
really?
2.
Nah, dude. I've been playing long enough that I've been frustrated by Anduin for so long, trying to play like board-based aggro, and I'm just over it.
Did remember um, before the Raza change because of standard Kazakhstan in Wild, the AK-47 priest?
Yeah,
That was the grossest deck.
so disgusting. So disgusting.
As to Zari in chat, the reason why no one's playing Myra's unstable element is because they banned Tony. Ask Oddlaw, he'll tell you.
It's true.
He's
Yes,
been
but
trying to get that
they're
combo to
playing
work.
Tony Myra Rogue.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
Remember when
Dude, if they
was it? Oh, I don't remember what deck it was, but there used to be decks where you unironically ran Myra. I think when it
Aggro
first
Rogue
came out,
decks.
you ran it in the 2-drop Prince Kelesef or whatever his name is.
Yep, yeah.
You ran it in Kelesef Tempo Rogue. That was the time.
Aggro tempo rogue decks prepping out Myras to get refill. Yeah, it was sick.
So
and then Mechathune Rogue built upon Myras. I would never touch Myras because, like, it's so fun. It's such a fun card. It's not necessarily good at the moment, but it's like so definitive of Rogue. To me, that's a healthier card draw for Rogue than passaging for 1, passaging for 0, trading your weapon, discounting passage, secret passaging, prep, killing a minion with serrated burn spike, and then playing an Edwin that's 14/14 on turn 1, turn 2. That is only possible mainly because of secret passage. So I think that would be a really good thing to look at. Especially now that Rogue is like one of the best decks, if not the best deck in the meta.
Passage has been broken since release. Didn't
It's
it get
like
nerfed at one stage?
Yeah,
it
from
drew 5 cards.
5 cards to 4. Yeah,
You could potentially change it that you don't get to keep cards that you draw whilst you are passaging. So like, if you play passage, then you play gear shift.
As you draw this turn, go back
any
to
cards
back or
you
something.
draw once you're in passage, you get to keep. If you changed it so that that didn't exist, so you had to play the cards that you played whilst you passaged, and you didn't get to keep anything. It still goes back into your deck. That could change things. But there's ways of
insane,
changing it without banning it as well. So
Yeah. And like this is coming, I'm like Rogue was one of my favorite classes, one of the classes I have the most wins with. Like played so much Kingsbane, so much Odd Rogue, so much Pirate Rogue, so much Mechathune Rogue. Like I love the class, but objectively speaking, even though I love playing Passage and killing my opponent and stuff, I think the card's super busted.
yeah. Well, we can at least enjoy the changes that we have had at the moment, and see where the meta sort of settles. And at least they're looking at Wild and making some changes, and we'll just have to see where it goes. It's sort of better than it's sitting stale for a long time. If we're getting at least some kind of change to things, and we don't have 7 Murlocs on turn 4, 5 Shaman meta anymore. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
So
That was the biggest thing of the patch, right? Is that we realized that they actually are looking at Wild. They're noticing that, oh wow, Tony Drew is really unfun. Oh wow, mech decks are insane. Blah blah blah. And so for the future, it's really promising.
yeah, sometimes just having a change and taking something out of the meta, even if it's for a short period or something, letting some other decks breathe, and having a chance to develop things is good. Just to see what else can be out there, what's being held back. All right, we're coming to the end of the show. So if you want to play on stream this week, reach out in the THL Discord in the normal channel, and Wild9 or Saka will be able to help you out to get your match on stream. It's really fun. You get to watch your game back later. If you win, they get to interview you, and I've played a few times on stream. I have watched them back and sort of done some self-evaluation. So if anything, it's good to get matches on, get the THL stream going, and getting other people watching our games so that we can try and get some new people in. We do have Hearth Center on later tonight if you're over a Northern American viewer, or tomorrow if you're a Down Under viewer. So you'll be able to join Lotus and the crew as they review Legacy, Hero, and Pro Series as we're getting towards the end of the season. If you would like to be on Out of Your League, we do not have anybody for the show at the moment to come on as guests. If you are interested, let us know. Send a DM to myself, Dankestat, or Azalea Akari. Let us know what time you're available. We might be able to set up a time that suits you. And we can get a couple more shows going. We'd like to get at least a couple more shows in before the end of the season. We've had a lot of fun doing it. We've really enjoyed doing the quizzes and getting to know people from THL a little better. So if you are interested in being on the show, please reach out. We are looking for people. Other than that, that's all I've got for tonight. Oddlaw, did you have any final comments before we go?
Not specifically. I hope everyone's enjoying Ladder at the moment. I know standard players are having a bit of a time with Druid, but I don't think that'll last too long given the MT and all that coming up. So I think that there will be changes soon if we all hold out. And if you enjoy Tony Druid, then live your best life and enjoy that. And then if you're playing Wild at the moment, you're probably having a decent time. It's pretty fresh meta. I'm sure there'll be a lot of deck lists that come in the coming weeks. I've noticed, at least I was playing today on Ladder, and I'm seeing all kinds of stuff at the moment. So it's pretty exciting times for Hearthstone and for THL, given all the playoffs and stuff coming soon. So yeah.
And Reverb.
Couldn't have worded the shout out to the community better myself. So gonna ditto that and pledge my allegiance to Shando Malfurion and his army of Tony enjoyers.
Yes, I'll be enjoying a couple of twist decks that I've been playing this week. So there's been with the new month, we've got the up to 40 cards. I've been playing a bit of Handlock, list that Stinzy put together, and I've also been playing from Gold 5 up to Diamond 4 now. Barely lost a game with a bit of Hand Buff Paladin, Electric Sheep City list. So been enjoying both of those decks. So if you do want to play a different format that's not in THL, but you want to have a bit of fun, definitely check out some Twist as well. That's all for us tonight. We will be back again next week. We'll see where Wild sits with 1 week to go, and we will review the first week of Trios, the first week of Trios finals. We will see you next week. Have a good day or good evening, and that's all for us. Good night.
Rio Series leaked. You heard it here first.